Hello.
Hi, friends. A little different look today.
Yeah.
We're down here. This is where the creative magic happens.
Yes.
This is what used to be called Dakota's bedroom. Now it is the creative craft room. It is
Yes.
what do you call this in the community?
A craft room.
A craft room? Okay,
Yes.
We're right on track. We're right on track. So a little different look this week. We're going to be doing something a little bit different this week.
Yeah.
You've started doing a tutorial video that you release mostly on Mondays.
Mm-hmm.
And this week, we're going to combine the two to introduce people to the tutorials and kind of tie it in with the new IOD 2025 spring release and how to care and maintenance for stamps.
Yeah.
I think this is awesome. This is entry level.
Yes.
And it is also going back to basics, and it is maintenance and care. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this one. I think you did a great job in picking this one out.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. When you buy IOD products, it's an investment, and you want to make sure that you're using them to the best of their ability and also keeping them maintained so that you can use them for years and years.
Right, because a lot of this stuff retires and then you can't get it anymore.
Yes, right.
So you don't want to lose your window, right? You want to take care of it. You want to have it and be, oh, I wished I'd taken better care of that thing.
Yeah.
So you have that, and this is going to be awesome, dear. I'm really proud of you. You're doing a great job. You're doing a good thing. We're getting a lot of feedback from our friends. People are loving it. They're interacting. Please, again, comment. Yes. Please ask questions. Please encourage my wife. She's doing a great job. So anything you'd like to cover before we kind of turn it over to?
Yeah. So you want me to talk about these, or are we talking about the week, like what's going on this week, or?
What do you want to talk about?
Well, I did want to mention that we're going to be doing a live at Sugar Mill.
Oh, very nice. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So Thursday night, what is that, the 20th? Is that the right date?
Yes.
We will be at Sugar Mill doing a live, just showing the new products and that space there. So that's coming up. And I don't know. I don't think there's anything else.
I think it's been a crazy week, but it's been a good week. We do have that going on. The IOD release is going well. We want to help people be better at the IOD products and get them more familiar.
Yes.
And just help them to step fully into this creative process.
Yes, because it can be a little intimidating. And what we're talking about today, actually, let me show you. So 3 of the new products that just came out are these little mini stamp sets, and there are 3 of them. This one's called Insignia. This is Velveteen. And this is Countryside Memoirs. And I think these are kind of the perfect entry-level product.
They are perfect. And I was just thinking they introduced 3, but they are so different.
Oh, yes.
And
yeah. Look how different. Like this one, what did we say this was called? Now I can't remember the pattern, but this is like a kind of a bold repeating pattern. This is super dainty, kind of a Jane Austen feel. And then this one has the letters, and you could use this for embossing, all kinds of neat things. So they're very different. They also could be, interchanged and used. Let me show you. This is the original one called Apothecary Labels. This also has some alphabets and some labels. Like you can use these all together and mix them.
In 5 years, this will be called the granddaddy of all the stamps. That'll be the godfather right there.
I am so excited about these little mini stamp.
They're awesome, kits. And they've done them so well. The way they put them together, they come in a box. They come in individual envelopes. They've put the blue tint on them. I mean, they're doing a great job, and you're doing a great job of showing people how to use them. So
Yeah, so stick around because I'll actually open up one of these boxes and I'll prepare it for stamping, and then we'll stamp with it. So that's coming up. I did want to show, so these little mini stamp sets, there's 6x6, there's 4 sheets, and it's all very compact and storable. IOD also has other stamp sets, and these are ones that I use, so they're a little, they've got ink on them and stuff.
These are your personal stash.
Yes, this is my personal stash. This one's actually the Kindest Regards stamp. So this is the 12x12 stamp. Mm-hmm. It's 1 sheet. And then they also have 12x12 2 sheet sets. This is pastiche, and there are actually 2 12x12 sheets in there. So they have 3 different types of stamping products. Mm-hmm. And what we're going to show you in the tutorial part of this is how to prepare any of these stamps, whether it's a 6x6 or a 12x12. You do need to condition them first before you use them.
That's a good word, condition.
And so we're going to show you how to do that.
That's awesome. So like you get a new baseball mitt, you got to oil it, you got to break it in, you got to get these prepared the same way.
Just what I was thinking.
Is it?
Yeah. I was thinking about baseball mitts.
I was thinking when I called that the granddaddy or the godfather, probably I'm talking to a different audience.
I love you. You're so cute.
So anyway, are you all set? I'm really proud of you, dear. You're doing a great job. People are responding, asking questions, encouraging you. Mm-hmm. And I think this is a perfect place to start with a new IOD release in place. People will learn how to care for, or at least get reminded of how to care for their stamps. So
yes.
Good job.
All right.
I'll see you in a minute.
Thank you. When you first receive your box or your package, before you use these stamps, there's a little bit of preparation that we need to do. And I'm just going to be preparing this insignia, velveteen stamp set. Because for one thing, I'm kind of excited to see what they look like. So it comes in this box, and it is a reusable box. Once you open it, you want to hold on to this because you'll be able to put everything back in there. Mm-hmm. Keeps it in this really nice, neat little package, and kind of helps you to keep track of it so you don't lose any. Because sometimes crafting can get kind of hectic and things end up everywhere, and you just don't want to lose any of these beautiful stamps. So inside each of these mini stamp sets, there are 4 of these sheets, and they each come with their own little envelope. Isn't that nice?
That is so sweet.
I love these. Yeah.
It gives you an advantage to taking care of them.
It totally does. Yes. So you want to hold on to these too because you're going to keep using them. But you pull out the sheet, and they have tinted on this bluish color, and that is so helpful. I have had to go searching for stamps because they're sticky on one side, and it can stick to something and you carry it away and then you're hunting. So this kind of helps you. If that happens, it helps you to locate them. So it's kind of in a little sandwich. There is a plastic sheet on both sides. One's a little bit thicker than the other, and it has this IOD logo on it. It says Velveteen. So that's your backer. This front side, we're gonna peel off, and it's just a protective layer. You know, you can hold on to this. You could put it back on there when you put it back in your envelope and save it. Or you can use this piece, like if you just want to use a part of the stamp and not all of it, you could pull off a piece and use it as a backer. So it's kind of up to you what you want to use it for. I've used it in multiple ways. But on this backer, you have your stamps, and they're all on here. There's like a sticky side to these stamps. So Some of these, it's just one stamp, but in this one, it's very buildable. Look, there's this piece here, there's this piece here, these two little birds and a crown. So you could stamp it all together, or you could pull off a piece like just this piece. You could put it on this sheet and just stamp this one piece. Or if you have one of these thin mounts, you could put it on the thin mount and use it for stamping. And I'll show you how to do that, but I just kind of want to explain what you're seeing on these sheets. So on your stamp, one side is flat but sticky, the other side has all the stamping detail. So I'm going to put it back on this sheet.
Don't they have a little picture on the sheet?
Yes, the sheet has a picture to help you line it up, and that is super helpful. Because I do like to take them off, but sometimes IOD specifically designs the sheets so that you could stamp, like for instance, if you were doing like a piece of wrapping paper, you don't have to stamp each individual piece. You can just stamp that whole sheet, lay it on there. And the same with this. You could stamp this whole piece, or you could pull all the pieces individually off and arrange it. So a lot of versatility. So now that we have it out of our package, before we use it for the first time, we need to, it's very slippery on this stamping side. And so we need to use a little bit of sandpaper just to kind of rough it up just a little bit. And it just gives it a little bit of tooth for holding your ink or holding the paint, whatever you decide that you want to stamp with. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that. I'm hoping you'll see what we're doing, because when I do this step, I look at how shiny that stamp is. Look at all that shine that's on there. And what I want to do with my sandpaper is just take that shine off. I'm not trying to wear it down. I just want to take that little bit of shine.
We're just kind of scuffing it.
More of a scuff. That's a perfect term for it. Yes, that is a scuffing. So I'm using 220 grit sandpaper. You don't want to use a heavy grit. You want something pretty fine. All right. So here we have our 220 grit sandpaper. Here we have our brand new stamp. And I am just very lightly, I kind of go in two directions. I'll go across this way. And just making sure we hit all those little areas. And then I'll turn it and come in the opposite direction. And as you can see, I'm really not getting crazy here. I am just trying to knock that shine off a little bit. And so here, I don't know if you'll be able to tell on the camera, but it's just a little bit less shiny. And that's going to allow your ink to I don't know if you'd call it adhere, but it helps the stamp to hold the ink a little bit better. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, if you don't do this step, your stamping, it just doesn't have that as much ink that gets transferred to the paper, because not as much ink actually sticks on here.
So it's kind of a transport.
It is. It is. You're good at coming up with these words.
You're sweet.
So now that I've done this step, I am just going to go ahead and stamp one impression here so you can see. I was going to ink up a new ink pad, but I actually don't have a brand new one here at home. So I'm going to show you on a very well-used, well-loved ink pad. When you buy your ink from IOD or from our website, you do need to buy both an ink pad, because this, when you receive it, will be completely blank. It'll just be a white pad, nothing on it at all. And then you buy whatever color ink you like. There are quite a few colors. I'm thinking like maybe 8 colors, something like that. Black is a great one to start with. If you're just getting started, I recommend it. And what you'll do is open your ink pad, shake up your ink, and then I just, the first time you do this, you're going to probably go over it a few times because you want it to be nice and black. As you can see, this one's nice and black all the way through. You don't want it to be goopy, but you do want to make sure you have enough ink on there. So I'm just barely squeezing my bottle, kind of running it across the pad. And then I stop squeezing and I just use the tip of the bottle to kind of spread that ink around. You want kind of an even layer. You don't want a really thick area and a really thin area. You want it to be pretty uniform across there. And then I'm going to go ahead and ink up my stamp. This is a first use. Can't wait to see what it looks like. I like to leave my stamp upside or on the table. So I have the stamp side up on the table, and then I take my ink pad and I actually just pat the stamp. You're not pressing hard. You're just kind of patting it. And you do want to get it.
It seems like a good tip, a good pro tip, as opposed to trying to get all that stamp on the pad. You're putting the pad on the stamp.
Yes, because on a larger stamp, that could be pretty tricky. So I think this is a much better way of doing it. You can kind of see that there is ink on there. It's not super obvious yet, but I can see that there is some ink. Sometimes I like to look at it before I go to stamp it, especially if you're stamping on a project. Sometimes if you press too hard with your ink pad, you might get ink on the edge of the stamp here. It happens. It's not disastrous. I think it can still look fine, or you can usually remove it. But I just like to give it a quick look, make sure I don't have any on those edges. And I have this canvas on here, so I'm hoping that this is going to be, you know what, let me get a couple of sheets so that hopefully it's hard enough.
Do you want that tray over there?
Let's try this and see what happens. So now for this first time, I'm going to use the whole sheet in one. And I flip it over, and it has this clear backing sheet, so you can see where you're putting it on your project. So let's say I'm trying to get in the center of this sheet. I just kind of line it up, lay it down, and then you don't want to slide it at all. I usually take one hand, hold that stamp, the other hand, I try to touch every part of the stamp. Make sure I'm getting the edges, the center, just every part.
So I think I heard you say it's best to, when you get a new stamp, not to use it on your project right away, no matter how excited you are, to go ahead and do a test run on like this.
Well, probably that would be a best practice. I usually don't have that much forethought.
Not that much patience, huh?
No, I'm usually kind of making it up as I go along. But yeah, I do think stamping on paper is a great way to get used to how the stamps work. So I have touched, I think I've touched all these parts. I can just pull this piece up. Oh, see, I did miss kind of the center of that one. So I'm going to push a little bit harder. And I think because this is paper and it's on a little bit of a soft surface,
it's giving a little bit.
It is giving a little bit. So I'm going to have to be probably a little more careful And that is actually a good, if you're able to in your project, to pick it up a little bit and make sure it's transferring before you pull it all the way up. That is kind of a helpful tip. But wow.
Let's see.
Look at that.
Oh, that is awesome.
Isn't that beautiful?
Oh, you recovered real well too, didn't you?
That's awesome. Well, because I didn't move it when I laid it back down, I didn't have to reline it up or anything. It was already there.
That is awesome.
Isn't that fantastic?
And you can use those little, I'm not sure what they are, peacocks?
No? I think maybe, I don't know, peacocks or firebirds.
Yeah.
Yes, so these could come apart. You could use just the center medallion. You could use just this piece here. All these pieces are removable on this particular stamp. Now, one last thing I wanted to say, once you've stamped and you're done, you do want to clean off your stamp. You don't want to leave it on there. So I just use a baby wipe and I just wipe it off, make sure that I have it nice and clean. Sometimes I'll do just an extra stamping at the end to make sure that there's not still ink left on there. You can also use like dish soap and a toothbrush. Like if you're using this with paint, I recommend doing that. I just use a little bit of warm to hottish water. Like you kind of want it to be a little bit hot, and use a toothbrush, scrub that all out, rinse it off really well, and let it dry. If you find that you're using your stamp and it's not sticking on the carrier piece anymore, like it keeps falling off, it's probably gotten a little bit dirty on this side. You never want to sand on this side. You want it to remain nice and sticky, but you can wash it. So you can use a little dish soap and some warm water, very warm water, clean that off, let it dry, and then it should stick on that carrier sheet again or on your thin mount. So did that make sense to you?
Absolutely.
Hopefully it made sense to you.
That was some great information.
Well, thank you.
Hope you guys found it helpful. Yeah. If you when you watched it, I'm sure you learned something. I'm sure even if you are a pro, you learned something or reminded of something. You did a great job, man. Just sitting over there, and you just brought it back to memory. Things I knew, just more. So that was awesome. And hopefully you will be more comfortable. You'll feel more educated in using these products. And you did a great job, dear. Anything you want to say before we...
Well, thank you. You're very sweet. I appreciate you hanging out with me while I make these videos. So thank you. You asked great questions. And we just wanted to remind you, if you want any of these IOD products, we are stockists for IOD, and we have a website, harmonivintagedecor.com. You can place an order there, and we fill those orders the next available shipping day. So if you order one day, the very next day is when we'll ship it out to you, the very next shipping day. And we're 100% on that so far.
100%. I'm so excited. I've been just sitting here chomping, waiting to throw in we're 100% people.
Yep, that is our goal. And so far we've been able to keep that. And so you can do that if you want to buy them in person. We also have two booths that are here in Colorado. One's in Fort Collins at Vintage Marketplace, the corner of College and Trilby. And the other one is the Sugar Mill, and that's I-25 and Highway 66.
There it is.
That's Meade. So you can visit us, or you can come see us online. And
both of them are fully stocked with all 17 new products, all three of them actually, because Harmony Vintage Decor is stocked as well. So we still have all of the new release products, and then of course we carry the full line, so we have the other products too. So there you go. Yeah. So thank you, everybody. If you have any questions or any suggestions for future shows, please chime in and let us know. This is just a small taste of what Angie releases on Monday, but we thought it was a good tip for everybody, kind of a back to basics. So we will see you next week. Anything else, dear?
I think that's everything.
See ya. Love you. Bye.
Bye.